Hi! The second week of February brought the coldest spell of the winter so far, but it has now turned much milder. Is the cold air likely to return as we head into March, or is winter done with us for another year? Well, I think there is a possibility of it turning much colder again, but how likely is that? I'm going to start by taking a look at today's GFS00Z model run, but I'll begin it on Saturday the 27th of February, and what we can see by this point is it's forecasting relatively mild upper level air to be over the UK. It's not particularly mild, but the really cold stuff is out over here in Siberia. Now, does it come our way or not? So if I run the sequence through the following days, let's see what happens. So through the early part of March, and I'll just pause it here, which is Thursday the 4th of March, and what we can see by then is this really cold air is making some inroads towards the UK, starting to push westwards across Europe, but it's still not with us. So if I just now run this sequence through to its end, let's see how things develop. So here we go, and by the 7th of March, what we can see there is that cold air has pushed quite a long way westwards. It's sort of made it into what used to be called Eastern Germany, and it's just really stopping as it reaches sort of what would have been West Germany. And the UK at this point remains relatively mild, at least during the days under an area of high pressure. So on this particular model run, the really cold air does not return through the first week of March. Let me bring up the ensemble postage stamp chart, as it's called, and what it's showing is the output from each of the runs in the ensemble model, with each stamp representing forecast 850 HPA temperatures on Monday the 8th of March. And what we can see is that a few of the ensemble runs are showing the sort of very cold air returning. We can see that shown by the blue shading on some of them, but most have sort of yellows and greens and oranges, which are indicating milder upper level air, at least less cold over the UK. So I think on here for about 4 or 5 out of the 32 plots which have the really cold air flirting with at least parts of the UK. So that is a small minority of them at this stage. I think what looks more likely to be happening is something like this, where we've got high pressure centred close to the UK, perhaps just to the south, and that would lead to a lot of dry weather. This one's showing something potentially colder. We've got that high pressure building further north and further northeast, and we've got the cold air sort of coming across, it's not reaching the UK there, but it is starting to push across westwards across Europe during the early part of March, and this particular run doesn't go out any further forward than the second, but if it did, it would possibly show the colder air reaching the UK maybe 3 or 4 days later. It's difficult to sort of second guess what it would go on to show. I'll show you the 2-metre temperature spread for the next 16 days based on the GEFS model. It's quite interesting because what we can see in the short term is there's some very high values there. These are maximum values during the day. We've got quite a lot of them going into the mid-teens Celsius, so it's notably mild for the time of the year. Now later on, towards the end of February and into the early part of March, there is something of a downwards trend appearing there, but there's also a big spread which is indicating forecast uncertainty. So to summarise, will the cold return in early March? It's possible. I would say it's possible, but it's not the favoured option. I'd currently go for something like a 20% chance of it turning very cold. But a more likely scenario is for high pressure to build over the UK, perhaps with 80% confidence. And what would that mean? It would increase the risk of nighttime frost and fog again, but the days would possibly be fairly pleasant. Dry conditions would be likely, where cloud cover is always an uncertainty with high pressure building, but where the sun broke through, I would expect daytime temperatures to probably be quite close to the seasonal average. So all in all, it looks like as we head into the early part of March, what we can expect is for high pressure to become a more influential feature of the UK's weather. It's probably going to build close to the UK, maybe to the south, or perhaps become centred over the UK. There's a chance that it will be centred further north, either over Greenland or perhaps towards Scandinavia. Were that to happen, the gate would be opening to the much colder air making a return. But at this stage, it's probably something like a 20% chance of being the outcome. So that's all for now. I hope you enjoyed this presentation. I wanted to try and do things a little bit differently in this as an experiment. If you enjoyed it, let me know and hit the like button, and don't forget to subscribe to the channel so that you'll be kept up to date when I publish new videos. Okay, thank you very much for watching now. Bye.